Hi, I'm quickly going to show a quick briefing of the MzansiGo Partner App. You'll see that this client is currently online. When an on-demand booking is received, it will ring like this. Simply click on Accept. You'll be able to see the pickup address, the stop, and the delivery address, as well as the pickup time. When you accept the load, you'll see a bunch of information regarding the trip. You'll see the client name, the contact number, as well as the info button. When you click on the info button, you'll be able to see the pickup address, drop-off address, as well as the time and the labor details. This client opted to book 3 labor, meaning the driver plus 2. You'll see they opted to pay online, as well as the item details. This client has furniture at this pickup, wants you to drive to this stop, which will become available once you collect, and then wants you to go to the drop-off address. The client will then make payment based on the total distance traveled as well as the total time taken for the trip. If the client wants you to do a return trip, do not end the trip once completed at the final drop-off address. Go back to the pickup address and complete the second load. Once the second load is completed, you can then end the trip. The total time and distance will then be taken into account. You'll see for this example the distance is 0 because the addresses are next to each other. When the trip is started, you can swipe to the right. Bear in mind that the trip only starts once you have reached the pickup address and have started loading. Do not start a trip once you are on the way to the pickup point. This is not right. You need to start the trip once you reach the pickup point and start loading. The first step is to navigate to the pickup point by clicking on this button. You'll see a phone call button there. You can phone MzansiGo's office by clicking on this. You can refresh your screen by clicking on this button. You can pinpoint your location by clicking on this button, and as mentioned, phone the client by clicking on this button. So let's say you've arrived at the pickup point, simply swipe right. Once you start loading, you swipe start trip. Once you have finished loading, simply swipe again. This address will then update to the next stop. Select copy or press navigate to go to your next stop. Once you have reached your stop, simply swipe right. You will then be prompted to go to your final destination, which is indicated by a reached stop to. If you click on this again, you'll then be able to see what the final address is. Simply swipe right. Once you have reached the stop, you will then be prompted for a proof of delivery. So get the client to sign. You will also then be prompted to take a photo. Once the photo is captured, simply select Done. This will then be available for the client to view. Once you have finished offloading, simply swipe right to click in trip. If the client did not book any labor, you are simply the driver and the client will load and offload themselves. So once you have finished offloading or the client has finished offloading, swipe end trip. The payment screen will then be shown. It's very important that you do not leave the delivery address unless payment has been received. If it's a company client who has an account with us, this page will not be shown. This client opted to pay online. They will then get an SMS and email or a push notification on their app if they have the MzansiGo app to make the payment. Once they make the payment online, click check status. It will then show payment successful if payment is made. If the payment has not been made, it will say payment pending, please try again. Do not leave the delivery address, but simply ask the client to make the payment online. If the client opted to pay with cash, this screen will show. Once you receive the cash amount over here, you can simply swipe that you have collected the cash. The client can view their invoice based on the total distance and time you have spent on the trip by going to their SMSs and selecting their track booking SMS. You can assist the client with this as well. Also ask them to go into the app if they have got the app downloaded. If the client opted to pay with cash, simply swipe right and say cash has been collected. The trip will then end automatically. You can then rate your customer by selecting the amount of stars applicable to the customer's attitude, etc. Select submit. The trip will then be completed. You can then go offline if you want to, or you can stay online if you want to receive more trips. Go to earning page. On the earning page you'll see unapproved or paid amount. This is updated on a daily basis. You'll see it says minus 300 on this load, and it's for 3 trips. The trip distance and total time taken to complete the trip will be shown. You'll see that this trip has got 0 distance and 1 minute, 0 distance 2 minutes, as these are only examples. This trip says negative 300, meaning that the total sale cost was about 1,000 Rand, which you received in cash, meaning you would owe MzansiGo 300 Rand. This will be deducted from your online payments. If a payment has been approved, it will show as approved payment and paid amount. Under accounts, you can view all your trip history. If cash has been collected for a payment, you will see the cash amount as well as the amount of stops, distance and time taken. You can also refer a friend who has got a truck by going to refer driver, entering their name, number and city. You can then also view your documents and upload new ones if your document has expired. Bear in mind your police clearance certificate will become mandatory in the next month or so. So make sure that you apply for the certificate in the very near future. Your license disc as well as your truck photo will also be mandatory. You can sign out from your app by clicking on this button. You can view your ratings over here. You can also view your service level agreement by going to legal terms and conditions and copying this document or simply reading it on our platform. Bear in mind that the client does pay for time, so please make an effort to finish your trip as promptly as possible, and remember to view all the info regarding a trip prior to leaving so that you know what is expected.